Hello and welcome to the Vector Garden YouTube channel. My name is Monika, and in this video we're going to take a look at strokes in 3D effects. So I've got a circle that has a fill and a 1-point stroke, and I'm going to apply this to a 3D object. So we're going to apply a 3D effect, extrude and bevel. And you see, I'm going to apply this here and set the extrusion depth. And we're clicking on OK. And here you see this looks weird, but that's not the fault of the stroke in itself, but that has happened because the stroke was selected by accident and I applied the effect only to the stroke. So let's apply it to both. And now it's applied to the complete object and we've got the result. And you see we've got a cylinder and it has a violet outside and a blue inside. And you also see that there still is this line. So that's what the stroke causes. Of course, the stroke gets extruded along with the fill. And maybe you just wanted it dark blue on the outside and you want that stroke gone. So let's try something. What we can do is just reduce the width of the stroke. So let's go in here and reduce it. And you see this didn't quite work. It's still dark. So let's reduce it still further and like so. And there we have it. But we still see that stroke. What can also happen, and I'm going to open the effect menu and you see I'm going to rotate it and you already see there's some irritation in Illustrator's rendering. So it can't do that. The dark is there and then the dark is gone when you rotate it slightly differently, like so. So this is just not safe to do. You can always rotate it in a way that Illustrator can calculate it because it's not precise enough, the rendering. So it makes issues. Also, when you apply a bevel, let's apply like this, you see there are even more irritations in the rendering, and you also see the warning that there are self-intersections. So the folding of that bevel just doesn't work too well with strokes, and that causes issues. And again, I'm going to set this to none. Let's go to the map art. And you see we have a lot of faces in here in this artwork. So Illustrator creates more objects than would be necessary to have this cylinder. So let's cancel this and let's see how we can improve that. So let's assume you want a cylinder that is dark on the outside. What we can do is set a stroke to none. So let's just get rid of it. And then what we can do is go into the extrude and bevel options, and let's first try the bevel and set it to jaggy. And you see there are no issues, no warnings with that, and we can do that. And also when we rotate it, there are no issues rendering that. How do we get the dark outside? Let's go to map art, and you see there are just 3 surfaces, the top and the bottom, and then the outside. And I have already prepared a symbol to map to that. So let's go to that violet, scale to fit, and go to OK. We can also shade it like so. And there we've got the thing that we wanted to have. Let's OK. And you see even that outside line is clear. There's no leftover of the stroke, which is nice. And this applies to strokes with any shape. So let's try a globe. I'm going to start with an ellipse and delete that anchor point, and then let's apply a stroke to this like so. And now let's take this and go to Effect, 3D and Materials, and let's go to Revolve to create a globe. You see again, there are issues rendering it, and I'm going to the right edge, and you see we've got the stroke on the outside. So if you have that full globe, then you just don't need a stroke. You can do it with a fill alone because the result would be the same. And let's go to Map Art and see you also get a lot of faces with that. You know, a lot of things that can irritate Illustrator and that create too many objects. So it's just not needed. There are some use cases for working with strokes, such as when you want to create a bottle like so. Let's go to Effect, 3D and Materials, and then go to the classic Revolve and do it from the right edge. And you see the bottle is created more easily when just using a stroke, but make sure that the stroke is just thick enough so that Illustrator doesn't cause any issues when rendering that thing. So this is how strokes and 3D effects cooperate, or rather don't cooperate. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.